Hello everyone and welcome to another banner review with me, Umber Rays, and today, if I look a little tired and a little worn down, it's because I am, and this video is going up a little bit later because I'm not going to make much excuses. Everyone knows that I'm a little bit busy this week, so that's not a big deal. So we're going to talk about the 3 banners that are currently up. Which one should you look to be spending lapis on? Which one should you not be looking to spend lapis on? And more importantly, what might actually have been hinted at in the most recent story batch here on the Japanese side. So let's take a quick look today. And first we're going to start off with, I think, the easiest to recommend, which is the 3K Lapis banner. First of all, you are going to be getting some cactars that are level max. And let me tell you, more EXP, the better. I mean, 5 level max cactars is great for getting a brand new 7-star up and currently running, as well as for anyone who's brand new who doesn't have any good equipment. Well, the platinum equipment's not bad to start an account, depending on who your characters are, but I have to say it is definitely okay. Not only that, but you get a brand new type of gill staffer. That's right, the rainbow type of gill staffer is finally in the game, the triple level one. And let me tell you, they are worth a fair bit of money. You also get 6 tickets as well as 1 5-star guaranteed ticket, and we love those guaranteed, don't we? Alright, so it's a pretty easy bundle to recommend. While it is out, it's going to be just a general lower lapis cost than the 5K one, which might be important because you may be needing lapis a lot sooner than you think, with both Golden Week and a story event coming up. But we'll talk about more of that in a minute. Now, second is the 5K Lapis Guaranteed banner. Now, this guaranteed banner is kind of interesting because it is not type-based. It is also not based on every rainbow in the game. It is only certain rainbows, and this is where it gets interesting. So, first of all, who can you possibly get from this? Well, Warrior of Light is the only 4-star on the list, and you have a very good chance of getting him. 3-star on the list are Firion, Cecil, Bartz, Regular Terra, Zidane, Shantoto, and Van. All pretty good on the list. In the 5-star list, however, there is Onion Knight Raffia, Dark Knight Luneth, Onion Knight Regular, Luneth, Dark Knight Cecil, Trance Terra, Cloud, Squall, Titus, Shantoto 2, or Angry Shantoto, as I like to call her, Lightning Noctis, Ace, Mercenary Ramza, Regular Ramza, Awakened Rain, and CG Laswell. So basically, it is 5-star heroes from each of the main Final Fantasies. Key ones missing being 14, because 14 doesn't have anything in the summon pool currently. However, so each of these units has a 5.88% on the guaranteed, a 0.176% on each pull. So the chances of getting multiple rainbows, not super great, and the chances of hitting a specific one, definitely not bad if you were looking for your first Noctis or Trance Terra, or the 2 new ones, Onion Knight Raffia and Dark Knight Luneth. It's definitely cheaper than a 5-step step-up, however, honestly, I don't know if I can quite recommend it because Dark Knight Cecil and Ramza, Regular Ramza, are both on there, and if you're not okay with just getting anything on this list, honestly, I think it's better just to save the 5K Lapis because, well, it could be really, really important in the near future. So now, with that being said, we're going to talk about the Final Fantasy III banner, and of course, it is a Mog King banner, so if you want those bonus units, whether they be 3, 4, or the 5-star, you're going to have to be pulling. But, so let's talk about it. And the first one to talk about is, what's her name again? Unei? Definitely a lesser known character. Trust Mastery, 6 attack, staff with 75 magic, 92 spirit. Pretty decent if you need a staff for CG Citra that is fairly magic and spirit balanced. I have to say, it's not bad. As for the unit itself, has a Well, it can ice resist for the entire party for 3 turns for 89% at maxed out. Has Tornado too, which is a great chaining spell, and can even dual cast it. Also has a 12-hit ice attack that ignores 25% of spirit. Not bad on a 3 to 5 star base, but nothing particularly that special in Unei here, so pretty easy pass, but for a bonus unit, perfectly passable. Next up is Doga. Now, Doga right here is our 4-star unit. Now, he has for a Trust Mastery a Rod with 8 attack, 103 magic, and 20% to fire resistance. A pretty decent magic rod. If you don't have any better options, I would say it's perfectly good. But how about the unit itself? Well, his limit burst maxed out at a full 6 stars, a 740% AoE 7-hit fire magic attack. That does give AoE fire resistance maxed out of 100%. So it's good for certain trials. It's also terrible for certain trials, because anywhere you might need fire resistance, well, you may not be able to use fire magic depending on the boss, so a little bit hard to recommend there. Other than that, has Quake, which Quake is really, really good. It's the opposite of Tornado in terms of a chaining spell, not quite as good as Tornado, and he does have dual cast, so as a mage, perfectly passable. Also has AoE except self, revive with 1% and self OHKO, so if you really don't have any other options, I guess he's okay. I mean, 4-star to 6-star just doesn't really matter that much anymore. Next up is Dark Knight Luneth. And Dark Knight Luneth, I'm going to have to talk a little bit more about him in a second, but essentially, I'm going to put a big caveat on this guy for now. First of all, his Trust Mastery. Well, his Trust Mastery is a 25% accuracy, 50% equipped attack when true dual hand, or when two-handing, so true dual hand, and 50% physical damage versus demons. So a regular Trust Mastery that's 50%, not bad. It's not as good. I mean, the extra killer damage versus demons is super nice, but you have to be fighting demons. So versus Nal and Naru's, it feels comparable. I might even like Nal and Naru's more just because it's 75% and not type damage cast. Now the Super Trust Mastery on this guy is 168 Dark Element Katana that has a skill that loses 30% HP but does 500% AoE physical damage. I mean, it's another attack. It's definitely like 500%, not bad percentage on it. But I don't know. 168 attack, Dark Element pretty much limits him to one type of element, and that can be dangerous in some fights. As for Luneth himself, he has a 203 base attack with 65 attack stat pots possible, so he can definitely get up there in terms of the attack stats, since you can build this guy as a true dual hand, and he has a fairly nice defense as well as a pretty darn good spirit. But we'll have to talk about his attack. Now, in terms of his limit burst maxed out at a 7-star, it takes 30 limit burst crystals, so that's kind of expensive. He also has a 1-turn 100% physical damage versus Aquan and Demons, 1100% 1-hit physical attack, ignoring 50% defense. So pretty strong limit burst, but not as strong as some other ones that we've seen. Magic spell wise, has Blindna, Cura, and Poisona, nothing super amazing there. He has Dark Side, he has Dual Wield right from the get-go, which is kind of weird because honestly I think this guy will be better true dual handing than dual wielding, but I haven't tested it, I don't have him, I probably won't get him, so I guess it's an option. Let's put it that way. Now, Interestingly, in his kit, though, he does get a 20% defense, HP, and MP boost, and a 3-turn 150% attack boost when his HP drops below 30%, and same with his defense of 150% when his HP drops below 30%, which is great because it turns out this unit's going to be trying to kill himself constantly. He does have some HP drains. He has Blind, Paralyze, Confuse, and Petrify resistance natural. And a lot of his attacks are based around losing HP for extra damage. Lose 20% or 30% for a 300% attack. But these attacks that actually lose his HP and do some damage also give either Limit Burst crystals or HP and MP, 2000 HP to 20 MP per the party between these two different abilities, one for HP and MP, one ability for the Limit Burst crystals. But at least he's doing something extra other than just killing himself. Supporting the party's nice. Also, he gets a 25% accuracy and a 50% natural in his kit for true dual handing, which is kind of low when you consider that some of the other true dual hand units get just 100% in their kit pretty early on. It's okay. He also gives himself an extra 50% physical or magical damage versus Aquans and Demons, and 30% light and dark resistance, so that's okay. From there, he gets the ability to use 2 of his abilities in a single turn, Katana Mastery, so 50% extra attack, lose HP, decrease dark resistance, and do some physical damage of 350% on one ability, 30% to attack and spirit, recovering 5% MP per turn. Awesome. Other than that, lose HP and some defense and spirit debuffs of 50% and 50% to attack and magic. Not bad per se, but there are much better debuffing options. Another big attack of his is to lose 49% of his HP and 750% single target one-hit physical attack. Now that's very strong. It's also just kind of, it's okay. Now, here's where I start to get a problem with this unit. In his 7-star kit, to get his Trust Master, you essentially have to equip his Trust Mastery. Goes without saying. But that means that you are going to be building this guy true dual hand and not dual wield, which is already in his kit. To get a 30% attack bonus as well as 100% extra damage versus Aquan and Demons, and he also uses a 3000 HP per turn recovery, so he actually does have a really good HP regen on him, but you have to build him true dual hand. And I don't like these Trust Masteries that essentially dictate how a unit should be built, so you're going to have to make a choice, basically. Now, continuing on, his cooldown ability, or one of his cooldown abilities, is on a 4-turn cooldown available turn 1, recover 100% HP, 3-turn 50% extra damage versus Demons, and an AoE plus 120% to attack and magic, and some dark resistance for the team for 3 turns of 100%. Great, nice little support ability, I think, and it helps himself, so nothing bad there. 20% to attack and MP, 20% to light and dark resistance, so 50% natural light and dark resistance. Not bad, definitely not bad. For 120 MP, he's on a 4-turn cooldown, available turn 5. Now, he does give a 2-turn plus 75% damage versus Aquan and Demons, and a 1700% one-hit physical attack. Very strong, it doesn't kill his HP, but is on a cooldown ability, so you have to ask, how does this compare to CG Hayu? And it doesn't. As far as I can, just off of initial impression, 1700% is a nice percentage, but Hayu can still triple cast his ability, and he doesn't kill himself, and he has a lot of options, so I don't know. This is definitely strong versus Aquan and Demons. It's just, how many times are we going to see those in the future? I just don't think it's super hard worth going on. 20% extra to Spirit, and his last ability gives 150% damage modifier to some abilities, 100% modifier for other abilities, which is good. It generally makes him just stronger. And either 50% a true dual hand, or 50% extra attack when dual wielding, though at this point you might as well. So with his TMR equipped, which takes up a spot, mind you, on his materia, is naturally in his kit 150% on true dual hand is pretty nice. On the other hand, just seems kind of nicer to just put a couple cloud on him and then not equip his TMR and do something better, which locks him out of 30% extra attack. So I generally am just going to say that I just really don't like this unit. I think he's kind of mixed and weird. I don't like his animations too, and that's more personal and definitely not in the evaluation of this unit. Honestly, I think it's a solid unit with some options on how to build him, but I've never been a fan of the HP loss for a little extra power. I would much rather just have a solid unit like CG Hayu or 7-star Randy, both who just have more chaining options. And again, this is a finisher, but there are a lot of good finishers already, and there may be a really good finisher coming next event, so it's hard to say that this isn't just a bait unit, and then next event we're going to see a CG unit that does essentially the same thing, only considerably better. So I put a caveat on this one. And last but not least in my yakking is, of course, everybody's favorite, Raffia. She gets an Onion Knight class, and isn't that sweet? So, first of all, her Trust Mastery is a 50% attack when equipped with a sword, 50% limit burst fill rate, Super Trust Mastery, 160 attack, sword with 30% chance to poison, blind, silence, and confuse, which is all pretty useless except for an arena. So, moving on, plus an extra 30% to attack, defense, magic, and spirit. That's considerably better. Her base attack is 198 with an extra 50. She can put an extra 50 into all of her stats. She's kind of a balanced unit in terms of stats, which is definitely okay, but it also makes her kind of unexceptional in the way that, you know, be cool if she excelled at something. And in terms of attackers, dual hand, she probably won't beat Sephiroth in terms of how much she can get for dual wielding, so it's okay. Now, her limit burst has a 7-star with her TMR, which, yeah, her TMR is good enough, might as well just equip it on her. Maxed out is a 1600% single target 10-hit physical attack, debuffing on a single target for 5 turns of a maxed out 80% fire, water, wind, and earth resistance. So the debuff of elements here is actually really kind of nice, seeing how she can imbue elements on her own. So I have to say, it's a pretty strong limit burst for only 20 limit burst crystals. Now, magic spells, she has Asuna, Stona, Curaga, Dispel, and Full Life. And the only thing that's really notable here is Full Life, and maybe Dispel. Other than that, nothing super great, can't dual cast it, and really, that shouldn't be the focus of a damage unit anyway. Now, of course, since she's a dual hand, I should say she's like Onion Knight, she has dual wield right from the get-go, so super nice, or at least naturally in her kit. She has pretty much kind of the same attacks as Onion Knight, so if you're familiar with Onion Knight, you'll know exactly what you're getting into. She gives herself, she does have a natural sword mastery as well as silence, paralyze, confuse, and petrify resistance. She has the 12-hit combo attacks. She has extra damage for Aquan and Undead, as well as some water and dark resistance, which is kind of interesting to have. She has an AoE plus 100% attack and defense for the party for 3 turns, as well as 150% limit burst fill rate for the party, so she can do some support stuff in terms of limit burst, extra MP, 5% MP recovery per turn. Now, each of her Onion Knight abilities basically unlock an extra ability for 1 turn, with the big difference being that, well, All of her elemental abilities, which are wind, fire, water, and earth, all grant a bit of a debuff on the enemy for 5 turns, and then auto add the element to her attack for 5 turns. So 5 turns is a long time. I've come out saying that I really like the Vincent for getting 5-turn buff, so I really like this for 5 turns. Basically means you don't have to constantly be worrying about it. What is kind of less great is the fact that she does have to use other abilities to essentially unlock her next one. Oh, and these ones are not, sorry, I should have said these 40 MP abilities are, well, they debuff the enemy and they add the element and they unlock the ability, but they don't do any damage. It doesn't look like, unless I'm reading it wrong, which I don't think I am, so she's kind of a unit where you have to set her up, and that's more of a problem to me. I definitely don't like using the turn to set up, but after that, I guess she's good to go. So we'll call it kind of even, I guess. Getting into her 7-star for equipping her TMR, besides the limit burst boost, she gets 30% to attack, 20% to water and dark resistance, as well as gaining 2 limit burst crystals per turn. Okay, super nice. Her cooldown ability available turn 1 on a 3-turn cooldown, cure all status elements, plus 110% to defense and spirit for the party for 3 turns, and 60 MP recovery. So she does keep some of her healing prowess from her earlier days, but 110% buff for defense and spirit's not super great. It's not super great. Extra 30% to attack and defense, or attack only, sorry, 30%, 20% defense and spirit, not bad. Her next cooldown ability available on turn 3, 2-turn cooldown, a 600% AoE 20-hit physical attack, ignoring 50% defense, 1200% 20-hit attack. Pretty nice, gotta say, no complaints about that. And it's on a pretty short cooldown, so you can use it fairly often. 20% to HP, and last but not least, 60% equipped attack when dual wielding, and 150% modifier for a couple of her abilities, and 100% extra damage, both physical and magical, for undead. So, what do I think of this girl? She's essentially Onion Knight. She's Onion Knight with a bit of a healing twist and some support for the party. Out of everything on the banner, she's definitely the best unit, but is she really worth going for? And now this is the thing I want to talk about real quickly, is the fact of this guy and what happened in the story this month. First of all, last month we saw that Earth Veritas got a whole bunch of, or Seghart if you prefer, got a whole bunch of dialogue right before, you know, he got added to the game, or I think it was last 2 months. This month in the story, Fire Veritas got a whole bunch of dialogue. He was quite in the story prominently, which makes me tend to think that that the next CG unit might be Fire Veritas, who is probably still a incredibly high attack, damage dealing chain finisher. That's kind of what Luneth is. Magic Knight Luneth, I should say, or Dark Knight Luneth, or whatever you want to call him. But honestly, this makes me really, really concerned about this banner as a potential bait banner for the single hand. So I would say that it's not super worth going hard on this banner, either on lapis or on tickets, mainly because I assume that the CG unit, that we are now getting a CG unit this month. I could be wrong. I definitely could be wrong. This is an interpretation of what I saw happen in the story this time, which is Fire Veritas was very prominently just mouthing off a lot. Usually in storytelling like this, episodic storytelling, you tend to make a character focus right before something big happens to them. And honestly, with this kind of skimp months, I wouldn't be surprised if we started seeing more CG characters popping out in the near future, seeing that a lot of major updates have come and gone. So it is just an estimation, but I'm under the fairly certain that this guy could easily be replaced in the future. Now, my problem with Refia is the simple fact that honestly, you need someone to chain with her, since she is a chainer. So if you don't have original Onion Knight, and you don't have, who's the other one? Sephiroth, I think, can chain with a lot of these 12-hit abilities. Might be kind of hard to find super amount of use. I definitely think that Refia and, to an extent, Magic Knight Luneth are both good units, for their kits in general just being fairly strong. I do think that out of the two 5 stars, definitely Onion Knight Refia, sorry, it's almost 1 AM here, is the better of the 2 units. So out of these 3 banners, which ones do I think are the best? Well, definitely I think the 3K Lapis one is just absolutely just insane value. You get some nice weapons, you get a 5-star guaranteed, you get this, and you don't have to waste a ton of Lapis, which is good. You might need it for the next CG unit, or, which could be this month now, or... and you just get some nice tickets. In terms of the 5-star guaranteed banner for 5K Lapis, I don't think it's super good. Unless there's a lot of units on this banner that you're okay with getting, then I'd probably just stay away and save your Lapis for something better that will come later this month or during Golden Week. And as for this, just say spend some tickets on it. I don't think it's super worth spending a mass buttload of tickets on this, because I just don't think this Mog King is super great, and that's also emphasized by the fact we didn't get a step up. Alan doesn't think this is really worth baiting people, or that this is going to be super interesting for a lot of people. And to be honest, I kind of agree with them. I don't think anything on this banner is that exciting. It's Onion Knight with a healing and support twist, as well as elemental imbue. I think that Magic Knight Luneth is just a generally okay chain finisher that will probably be outclassed either by Axstar or CG Fire Veritas within the next 2 months. And these 2 are just bonus fodder. So in general, I don't think this is a super great banner. I'm not super happy with it, but it is a Mog King. We do need some bonus units, don't we? So other than that, this is one last piece of advice. Remember the fact that you have a daily summon for every day in April. So make sure you're using it, because you don't want it to go to waste. It's kind of a PSA. We only got a blue crystal. Isn't that disappointing? Even more disappointing. Even though I really like Maria in the game, I'm not a big fan of her in this game. So yeah, everyone, that's basically it. So enjoy April. I think it's going to be a good month. Try and save some resources. We'll see what happens in the near future. The near future? Maybe that's the collaboration. Actually, I think it's Jumanji. And the less we say about that, probably, the better. So that's it for now. I will see you all in the next video.